All right. What's up? Yeah. Hey, Remus. Place. Good job, buddy. Nice. So, I've seen a lot of posts and stuff on social media lately about teaching your dog and understanding. Like, how do you do so? How do I teach my dog so they understand whatever? So I'm going to tell you guys what I do with every single dog that comes into the board and train program. The very first thing I teach is placement. The reason why I teach placement is so I can effectively and repeatedly in the same area teach command release. So it'll be place, break, place, break. And then I can start adding the distance, the duration, and then the distraction. And the distraction is other dogs, like I have in here, or me jumping around, or a vacuum cleaner, or whatever. Throwing stuff around, throwing stuff over the dog, whatever you want to use for a distraction, doesn't matter. Typically, I use other dogs and the vacuum. Now, why do I choose placement to teach first besides a heel, sit, down, or anything like that? And the reason for that is very simple. This is a controlled command. The dog has this elevated bed, so now it has a boundary. It's not a makeshift or artificial boundary like you would have for a sit or a down. What I mean by that is there's no variables to compliance with this command. So like with a down, you can have the dog down, and then they roll over or whatever, or they turn 90 degrees and then they down. Same thing with sit. There's variable to that command in the very beginning. Unless you use like this platform I have over here, like I went over in one of my other videos, to align the dog, and you're doing that. Placement is the 100% best and easiest thing to reinforce, in my opinion, especially when you start bringing in that distance, distraction, and duration. 100% placement. Plus, this is like the one command that everybody uses. Dogs in the office, you guys are out at a brewery or a pub or whatever, and you just want your dog to hang out with you, on the back patio and stuff like that. You just throw down a handkerchief or something and be like, place, and the dog will be like, oh yeah, I know what that is, and so on, etc., etc. So, this dog is only here for a 2-week. So I'm going to show you kind of how I do things with this dog, or with actually most dogs. So I don't really I'll use food for luring like the very first day or two, maybe. And that's just to show the dog what it is that I want them to do. Once I tell the dog, from like a very short distance, once I'm like place and they jump up on here, no more food. The dog is now showing me that the dog understands where it is I'm asking them to go. Obviously, understanding of the entire command as a whole involves more than just going over to the placement. It means staying on it until released. This is where the command release comes in, right? So, for him, I'm using a prong collar. The prong collar that is on him is very loose. I use loose prong collars on almost every dog because I'm using the prong collar as a directional motivator in a way. Is it aversive? Yes. Can it be a motivator? Yes. Can an aversive be a motivator? Absolutely. So, what I mean by that, or how I use it, is it's loose so it can rotate around the dog's neck freely. Right? So that depends on the direction I need to pop them. It's easy. It's not getting caught up on the hair. If it's too tight, it's very difficult to give directional. And I don't need the corrections to be that sharp. I'm not really going for, these high corrections. The only time I'm going to do that is when a dog has a total, complete understanding and I'm working on higher precision. Then I'm going to probably use a tighter collar, a little bit more subtle touches, but that's at like the very, very end of training, if not into more advanced things. So unless I have an aggressive dog or I'm doing that, this collar is on very loose. I can stick 3 to 4 fingers between the dog's neck and that prong collar, like straight up and down, not just flat, straight up and down. And could I get away with taking a link out? Yeah, probably could. He's got a little bit rough, longer hair, so I'm just putting it on there the way it is. So whatever, your mileage may vary, mess with it, whatever. I do want to explain though why I'm not using a slip collar. I personally have moved away from slip collars almost completely in the last 2 years. And the reason for that is it's not that they're bad, they're a great tool. However, I have found over the last few years that I have had to deal with a lot less protest using a prong collar than a slip collar. And it's not just that, it's not just that aspect of it. I feel like I'm able to give a more clear picture with a prong collar, and I'm able to guide the dog easier with a prong collar. Because guidance with a slip collar, it turns into pressure release. So you're adding pressure, the dog comes with you, you release, you praise, all that stuff. I'm not saying pressure release is bad. However, I am saying that the picture that the dog gives you, the look that the dog gives you, the anticipation that the dog gives you is different when it's done on pressure release. That's all I'm saying. For me anyway, that's how it's come about. Now, my other trainer still uses a slip collar and still uses all the pressure release, yada yada, whatever, the job gets done, I don't care, the dogs still look fine. However, the dogs that I'm training personally, I don't use them. I use the prong collar, I'm able to advance the dogs far faster, and I just get a different look from the dog. I get a happier, more anticipation, you know, all those things. So that's what I go for. Obviously with some dogs, especially dogs that have live bites, aggressive dogs, I'm going to be using that slip collar because if I have to choke that dog out, I got to choke that dog out. I'm not going to choke him out on a prong collar. It usually makes it worse, and it usually breaks my prongs, or bends them, which pretty much breaks them. So anyway, I'm going to show you how I do this with these light corrections, directional pops, and you'll see, I'll show you, I'll just go from the very beginning. Break. On what I would do with the dog. So, I would bring the dog close. I would go place, pop, pop, pop. Very light directional pops. Pop, pop, pop. That builds that urgency. When the dog gets on here, I'm going to tell him break. And if the dog doesn't come, I'm going to give a little pop. Nice. Place. Pop, pop, pop. Break. Yeah, good job, buddy. You want to move around. Place. Break. Yeah, good job. So the lack of place. Nice. See, now no pops. Good job. The command release. You want, once the dog gets on there, the dog is released, and that's the release becomes their goal, right? They're kind of the thing that they're anticipating, right? So this is where the building anticipation comes in, is command release, command release. If you do command and then you're adding duration, okay, you're like, dude, my dog knows place. I put him on there, and the dog goes up there and then just like flops into a little puddle. Then that's not anticipation. Like his anticipation, this dog's on a lot of medication, so his anticipation is not super great, which I haven't had he's only been here for like a week and a half, so whatever. What I'm saying is you want the dog to run up there, not lay down or anything. And this is honestly, he's probably laying down because my other trainer worked him for a while too. And he gets the dogs to lay down on the placement before doing anything with them. So we have 2 different ways of doing it. I'm telling you the right way. No, I'm telling you the better way. And he's the lazy dog anyway. You're just a lazy boy, Remus. You're just a little lazy boy. Yeah, you're just a little lazy boy. Yeah, you are. Yeah. So you want to get the dog on there, where the dog's anticipating. The dog's like, yeah, I'm getting on that place. He gets on that place, and then he's looking at you for the next thing. How long? Where's the release? Where's the release? Now, once you get that anticipation, That's where you start adding the duration. You start delaying it a few seconds. You go, place, the dog's up there. He's like, what are we doing? Break. And then you keep adding more duration, more duration. You want that anticipation because that means the dog is excited and willing and wanting to work with you. Okay, that's where anticipation comes from. That is where you start to see there's more understanding of the command. If the dog is just doing it because the dog is trying to avoid something, avoid a negative or whatever, a correction or a verbal negative or whatever, an e-collar correction. If the dog is doing it just to avoid something, the dog is going to look completely different. And you're not going to have that anticipation in most dogs. This pit bull over here would probably still give you anticipation because it's just the happy thing that, you know, you could beat it over the head with a 2x4 and it would still be like, yes, I love you, daddy. That's just that dog's character. That's not his character. That's not that dog's character. And it's not these other two dogs' character. These dogs, they would take a correction and they would look totally different. They'd be like, oh, I don't want to work, but I'm going to work because I don't want that to happen again. I would say that is like most pet dog trainers don't care about that. I don't even know if they don't care about it, or if they just don't know that there's another route to go. Because I didn't for a long time. I didn't know there was another route to go for a long time. I was like, anticipation, what? Who cares? The dog has to do it. I say sit, you sit. Like that's it. That's that hard line. You can still get hard line obedience in pet dogs by going this route. And this is the most important thing to teach first and foremost is command release on the placement because I can replicate it. I can add things and I can replicate it. I can keep where and what I want the dog to be doing in a very specific spot every single time. I do not need to move this placement. But what's also nice is to kind of proof and understanding, I can now move this placement. I can use other items as a placement, and the dog has the fundamental structure down from right here. It's way different when you try to do that with sitting down. Way different because you have to work on the precise positioning. This doesn't have that, but what it does have is it has a very precise boundary. All right, so this helps aid the dog. This is an aid. It's like the bumpers for at a bowling alley or whatever. Now, that's not to say it's a bad thing. That's a really good thing because we have to add as much as we can in to help the dog as they're trying to learn and understanding. Break. Yeah, good boy. Nice. Good job, buddy. Yeah. That's a Remus. Place. Boom. Break. Yeah, good job, buddy. Place. Nice. Break. So I'm trying to get him released right before he lays down to try and get him placed. Nice. Break. There you go. Because I don't want him to get comfortable. Place. Break. Yeah, good job, buddy. Place. Break. There you go, buddy. Nice. Down. There you go. Place. Nice. Break. Yeah, good job. Super. Super. Place. Break. Nice, buddy. Come on, Remus. Good job. Good job. So now we can start adding a little bit more distance. Place. This is where, there you go. Break. Yeah, super. Super. Yeah, you're such a good boy. Place. No, nothing. No guidance, no nothing. Nice. Break. Yeah, good boy. Whew, nice. Place. Good job, buddy. And so what you start to see here is you start to see that excitement and on that release, like that dog is like, yeah, I'm done. I did it. I get to interact with my people now. I get to do my stuff. So your break should be either lots of physical praise, physical play with the dog, or the dog gets a toy or whatever. Like that's where your break should be because you want to really make that buildup, that anticipation into something that the dog wants and enjoys. So boom. First things first, if you guys are confused about what to teach a dog, placement is always first thing. Not only does it teach the command and release which is going to be the foundation to everything that you teach the dog at some point in time. I don't care if it's sport. I don't care if it's whatever. Obviously, with sport dogs, don't teach them a place because there is no place. So you wouldn't teach them that. But I'm talking about the command release part. So this gives you a nice, easy way to controllably and repeatedly do that command, build that anticipation, build that duration, build that distance, build that distraction, and give the dog an easier route to success before going into heel, before going in the sit, before going in the down, right? So obviously you can do all these things in the same day, but first and foremost, to build a relationship and teach an understanding with the dog, I do this. So now if the dog got off, I would be popping and correcting him back. So unfortunately, he didn't really give me he didn't give me any pushback, as far as like trying to break himself or whatever. But let's see if I can make him do it. Oh my gosh, who's that pup? Place. Nice. Who's that puffle up? Wow, who's the pup up? You are. Nice. Oh, what is that? You want that ball? Break. Yeah. Oh, that's a good boy, Remus. Who names their dog Remus? Place. Wow, who's a good boy? Yeah, you are. Nice. Wow, who is that? Place. Nice. What's going on? Wow, who is that? Oh, that's a good boy. What are you doing? Place. Wow. Wow, who's that? Who's that? Good place. Who's that? Yeah. Place. Nice. Who's that? Who's that? Wow. What are you doing? What are you doing? Wow. You don't want to use their name, all right? So you got to be real careful about that because then it's not fair. If I were to use his name right now and he broke, that's my fault. Good job, buddy. Place. Yeah, you fixed it, but he's still going to pop. You still going to pop. Yeah. Oh, what's out this door? Who's out there? What's going on? Place. Good place. Break. Yeah, what's up, dude? What's up, Remus? Nice. Nice. Sit. Nice. Good job, buddy. Place. Good place. Break. Yeah. Nice. And what's also really cool about place is I can start teaching the recall. Come. Nice. There you go, buddy. Yeah. Super. Nice. Good come. Come. Break. Yeah. Super. Place. Nice. Good job, buddy. There you go. So that's how I correct it and everything. Guide him back on there. I use the name of the command with the corrections. So if I'm at a distance, then I'll probably say no. So if I have to mark the negative and be like, hey, you're going to get a correction once I get over there, I'll say no. If I have the leash in my hand, I'm going to go place, down, sit, place, whatever the command is, and I use the verbiage. I use the name of the command. So, yep, that's what I would do. Teach placement, show your dog an understanding. Once your dog understands this completely, 100%, move on to the other commands. That's what I would do. Does not take that long to teach a dog place. It takes like a couple days before adding everything else into it. So there you go.